Hello friends, welcome to my latest GitHub community project. In this project, we are going to build a pandemic contact tracing app for iOS, Android, and web. In this application, I'm going to use Angular and Firebase latest version. And this application can also be used as visitor management, mobile attendance, mobile GPS location, picture attendance, or asset tracing app. This application uses your mobile phone browser HTML5 navigation features to capture user GPS location. You will be able to download entire source code from my GitHub repository. Please do not forget to subscribe me, like, and give me a star to this repository if you like the code. Now, in past, I have built similar applications like visitor management, GPS location, mobile picture attendance, and you can find all of the source code from my GitHub repository. In this application, pandemic tracing, there's a license file. So this application is MIT style license. What that means is that you will be able to download this application, use it for the commercial use, and even you can change it if you like it. But I'm not responsible or liable what you're going to do with it. Now with that said, let's jump onto the demo. So before we jump onto the demo, I want to call out that in some places, depending on the physical location, the contact tracing may be illegal. So please check with your government authority and local laws before you start doing so. First screen you are going to see in this app is the social authentication. So as you can see, there are 3 different ways user can log in: using an existing email and password, or maybe a Google account or a Facebook account. Now this app uses the Firebase authentication method to authenticate user against their existing Google accounts. In this case, I'm going to use my Google account. Now let me pick an account. So it's going to come back and it's going to show this screen because it's already authenticated using my Google account. Now, as you can see, there are 3 different options. Either you can log out, or there are 2 different places you can go. One is the admin panel and other is the VMS panel. So let's go to the admin panel. Now, admin panel is the panel where you can customize your application. So for example, everything you can see, the color, look and feel, and the text, and even the social authentication. Look at the bottom. There's a Facebook account, LinkedIn, and GitHub. Right now is pointing to my repository. But if you want to change the URL, you can easily do that. Now, similarly, in your main application, if you want to control, and suppose there's some features you don't want to use, so you can easily come back here to the admin panel once you hide it, so it will not even show up in your application. So there are a lot of things you can do in the admin panel. This is the app branding feature. So basically mostly the customer look and feel related features, text related feature, you will be able to do that. The other things admin can do is then run the report. So for example, you want to see how many people are already in my building right now, or how many people are in my quarantine center. So you can easily do that. There are very sophisticated report I built for those are contact tracing. So for example, you happen to know that there's somebody, that he checked into your quarantine center, this GPS location. So you want to know who else was in that building at that time in the same GPS location. So you can run those kind of reports, and those are very useful report. So now let's go to the VMS cloud options here. So as you can see, it takes you the check-in and check-out. So it asks you what kind of check-in you want to do. So you have a few options, like suppose you are a guest. So this is the visitor management part of it. So suppose you come here and you are a guest, and it asks you, okay, who do you want to meet? It will automatically pull all the employees. That means the people who you want to meet. So you can select that, and you can place, it will ask you to put your bare minimum information, your name and email ID and password, whatever you want to capture it. Easily you can customize this based on depending on your requirements. So it is asking users to fill all that information. Once you fill that out, you have to click the next, and this is the most critical part. Here it is asking you to understand it that there's a terms and conditions. So you need to tell your user, even if you want them to watch a video, you can ask them to completely read your terms and condition, agree to the condition, because this application may capture your GPS location. So make sure that your user clicks on this, and then it takes you to the next screen. And here, if you're watching this in your iPad or iPhone, it immediately opens up the camera. So that's another very nice feature here. And it asking you that it's going to capture a GPS location. So let me show you the web console. So as you can see at the bottom of it, so it captures your GPS location. So that's what I meant when initially I said this is using your browser HTML5 navigation features. So it captures your GPS location. Now, in this case, like I'm just going to upload a dummy image. Actually, it opens a camera and you can take a selfie. So once this is uploaded, all you need to do, click next. All right, so here, as you can see, your picture will show up here, and there's a very nice looking signature pad is going to open. So it's asking you, suppose you are using an iPad, so it looks very nice. You are asking user to sign to that agreement, and then you can print a badge. So in some quarantine center or maybe visitor management, you are doing it in office or doctor's office, you want to print some kind of an identity badge, so you can print it using your existing printer. So that's another functionality. Now let's go. So the user is already checked in. So let's go to the checkout function. And as soon as you put the user's phone number, it's going to tell you all the details about that particular user, how long he was in that building or something like that. So you can just go and click on checkout. So that will check out this user. Now let's go back to the check-in feature again. So here, as you can see, similarly like guest, you can have a contractor or an employee. So again, the employee, you don't want, the employee to upload their picture over and over again. So, but you can just, again, you can customize this based on your requirement. These are just the samples. So the most critical part, and again, everything, as you can see, let's go to the admin panel. I want to show you something. So in admin panel, remember for the guest, these are all the buttons. So suppose you do not want user to fill out, a couple of the fields. So you just disable it here. So these fields, once you disable it here, these fields will not even show up into that VMS, the application. So you can control all of those functionalities from your admin panel. Okay, now let's go to the contact tracing part. Now this is very, very similar like the guest record, but here the difference is it asks you which quarantine center. Again, this is showing the employee, but you can, point it to the quarantine center. So suppose, you are checking into that building. So what is your name, your, phone number, etc., etc. But also here, what you can do, you can ask user that, okay, in past 10 days or 14 days, who you have met, you can capture all those information. What are your addresses, who you came in contact with, those kind of information. So those comes in very handy. Once you capture those information from the user, then you will be able to back trace it, or you can send an email to them saying, you came into contact with this person, why don't you go and check yourself, something like that. Okay. So again, this is totally ethical. That means I'm not forcing user to enter all of these things. It's totally at will. So if the user checks in, if he likes that, he can, enter all this information. Right now, as you can see, I put only 2 or 3 boxes here, but again, you must have, suppose you are a visitor, you must have met 1,000 people or maybe 100 people, 12 people in past 10 days. So you can customize that. You can add as many boxes as you want. All right. So again, this is the pro feature. Sorry, I developed this for one of my client, and it's not actually, it's a free app. So I did it for a community. It was a totally 100% free, and I donated this application to a couple of quarantine center. So, and they are using it. So, if you want, I can share that code with you, and I'll be happy to do that. All right. So again, the same thing for the contact tracing is going to go through the similar route. So, but again, there's some extra information it's capturing. But it will, again, you can capture that visitor's picture. You can upload that, and you can also, ask them to sign a different agreement that, hey, you know what, I'm going to capture your GPS location. If you are asking me to, if you agree to do that, then only, I'm going to go ahead and save your data into the system. All right. What else I can show you? Here, save this, upload a picture. Let me upload a different picture here. Okay. And then very nice thing is, like, once the picture is uploaded, you click on the next button. You can print a badge. So, that's also if you have a very friendly printer. Right now, I'm not hooked up to anything, so I'm just showing that a PDF is generated. But you can actually, hook up your printer, and it's going to print your badge. Okay, so what else? So in this next section, I'm going to show you how you can install this application and how you can use it. But there are some reports I wanted to cover. Again, these reports are the pro features. But the whole idea is, once you know that user's GPS location, and that user is they say something called SIR, S-I-R. That means you are a suspect that you have been infected, and then infected, and then R means recovered. So there are 3 different phrases, SIR. So in this application, I am only capturing suspect. So for example, you checked into a quarantine center, you may not have the disease. You just want to, capture your own location. It's a very ethical thing to do. So here, similarly, you can, at one click, you can access somebody's information saying, okay, you have been into these different places in past 10 days. All right. So what else? Okay, so employee part. Okay, so similarly, suppose you want to use this application as a visitor management. So you can store your employees' information here. You can also hook this app to your LDAP or existing Yahoo or any Facebook, any directory, address book directory. You'll be able to do that. Let me show you one more feature. So suppose you can change the text, so all of those your custom branding kind of a thing. So right now it's saying it's ilishconsulting.com. If you want to change that, if you want to change the URL, let me try changing that. Save it. Did I saved? Okay, see, so it's going to let me refresh that. Sorry, I should change it. Okay, see, so you can, the whole idea is you can customize this application. It's not admin panel, unfortunately, is not a fully functional yet, but you get the idea that you will be able to customize the bare minimum, like the text or put your company name, things like that. This is a totally free, 100% free MIT style license project, so you can use it at your will. But just like I suggest you not to do something. Please check with your local government authority before you start capturing someone's GPS location. All right. Now let me capture some other functionalities. So for example, you see that there are a couple of help icons, or this app actually is a multilingual app. So in suppose you want to deploy this code in some other language, say Hindi or French or Espanol or maybe English. So English is already English, so you can easily do that. So, and there is another functionality called help. So for example, you are in this screen and the help is showing the text that, hey, these are two different methods you can check in. You are on different screen, so please pay attention to the help changes accordingly. So that's another very nice functionality. You're supposed to deliver it to your business. Now let me show you one more thing. Now right now it may be looking very odd on your screen, but trust me, I built this app for tablet devices, so it looks very, very nice on the if you're looking it on iPhone or let me show you the iPad. So it looks like it takes the full screen, and it looks very, very nice. So this is how it's going to look like on your screen when you watch it on iPad. So again, you can change it as per your requirement. So now let's go to the installation part. I'm going to tell you how you can install this application on your machine. First thing you will need is a code editor. VS Code is my number one choice, but it's up to you. Whatever, even Notepad would do. As long as you have the node.exe, it's just a code editor. So I like VS Code. So please make sure that you download the VS Code. Next thing you want to do here, go to nodejs.org. Again, if you don't know what Node.js is a JavaScript runtime framework. So now there are two different versions. As of today, this is the latest version here. I'm going to, so the way I always download, you can download the exe and double click on it, but I always download the source code. All you need to do is very simple, very lightweight zip file. Just extract it to a non-elevated folder. What that means is, do not save it in C program files. Save it somewhere like C and say create a directory called Amit or app, and just extract all of those files inside that directory. All right, let me do that. Now, next thing you want to do here, make sure that where there's node is located, you have to update your environment file here. So your system environment in Windows machine, you just update it and point it to the node where your node.exe file is. Next thing you want to do, go to VS Code, go to your command prompt window, okay, and first thing you want to do is node-v. So it will tell you that node has been installed on your machine properly or not. If you see an error, stop and please go ahead and reinstall your node. Now npm comes built in. You don't need to do a separate installation, but I like it I always do npm-v. Next thing you want to do, you have to install the Angular, and to do that, npm install-g, that means global, and say at Angular /CLI. So I already have that, but so I'm not going to do that again, but please make sure that you install npm install-g at Angular CLI. Please install that, and once you do that, just do ng version. So it will tell you what kind of Angular CLI version you have on your machine. So please make sure that you have that. All right. So this is the bare minimum. You need Node.js, you need Angular before you start running this app on your locally on a machine. All right. All right, so ng version looks good. And please make sure that ng version does return a valid Angular CLI version. So again, I know I keep my code always updated. You can always go to my GitHub repository and download the latest version. And if you are interested into the old version, you can always, GitHub keeps the historical, all the historical changes, so you can always see the history as well. The best way to do that, please, you can download it through Git, or you can just download the entire zip file. So in this case, all you need to do, git clone and give the path. Sorry, let me change that path. Let me capture it again. So git clone and copy this path, go to your terminal window and paste it here. Okay, all he's going to do is going to clone this repository into your local drive. Now there's another method. You can go ahead and download the zip, and all you need to do, extract to a non-elevated folder wherever you keep your files inside your C drive. Now while you're here on the GitHub, please do not forget to give me a star. That means a lot to me. All right, so let's go here and extract all of these files to any folder. Okay, now look, go back to your code editor terminal window. Let me go to this directory, cd into this directory, do an ls. So make sure you see the file package.json, otherwise it's not going to work. So you should be in the same directory where you see the package.json file. Okay, next thing you want to do here, npm install --save. You don't need --save, but it will update your repository as well. So npm install --save, and it's going to take a few minutes. But make sure that you do not, whenever this is done, you make sure that you do not see any error in your terminal window. In case you see the error in the terminal window, please go to my GitHub repository, open a new issue, and I'll be happy to help you out. Now, while this is doing that, let's move on to the database part. So go to Firebase. Now, Firebase is a Google database, database. Go to Firebase console, and all you need is any Google or Gmail ID, and it can take you to the, it can create a Firebase account for you. Okay. Now here, first thing I want to do here, go to the authentication, and here, make sure that you enable email and password. Make sure that is enabled. Second thing is the Google. Go to the Google and make sure that this is enabled. Third thing you will need is Facebook. Facebook is optional, but and again, there's a little bit of, I have another video on how to enable the Facebook authentication. But if you want your user to be authenticated against Facebook, please go ahead and enable that as well. And you will find all of this installation instruction in my GitHub repository. And I'm going to include that link to my GitHub repository to this video description. So next thing you have to do, copy all of these things here. Please do not make any mistake. So this is where you copy all the Firebase rules. Without that, is not going to work. So go to the rules tab and get rid of everything and you paste it here. And I want you to save this here, and please make sure that you do not see an error. If you see an error, come back to this repository, open a new issue, and I will be able to help you out immediately. But make sure that these rules matches exactly with what I have in my installation.md file there. All right. Next thing you will need, there's another set of rules, because this app, I'm also, saving users file. That means your pictures and everything. So right now I do not have a very strict rules. Please make sure I'll come back and I'll change it. But I'm just going to put some dummy code there. Okay. Now, so I updated my Facebook database rules. I've updated my Facebook storage rules. Next thing I want to do here, I want to create a blank file called VMS license. Okay. Now in this license, please make sure that exactly matches with this screen. If you want, you can pause this screen and please take a screenshot. But your app must contain this particular collection and this particular document, and inside that document, it should match exactly like this. And the reason is, this is your admin password. If you go to your app and you run it, it's not going to run. You will need an admin password. So this is what it is doing. It's creating an admin password for you. You can change it. You can change the password later on, but I'm just telling you, you have to have this collection. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Now I'm done with the Firebase part. That's all you will need. You need to set up the Firebase authentication, Firebase rules, FireStore rules, and then create that admin record. Okay. Now if you go and just say ng serve -open. And please make sure, again, pay attention to the terminal window. It's going to take a few minutes. Plus, please make sure that you do not see any error. If you see any error, you need to stop and create a new GitHub, create a new issue at my GitHub repository. All right, so as you can see, it compiled. There's a couple of warnings. I'm going to ignore it. And next thing you want to do here, go to my application, and also please, open the web console window. So if there is any error, it will show you the error. So whenever you reach out to me and saying this app is not working, please include this console. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you out. Okay, if I don't see the error, I won't be able to help you out. What's wrong with your application. So as you can see, there are a couple of errors here. So this helps me help you. So whenever you open a new GitHub issue, please make sure that you include the screenshot of this window and your terminal window. All right, so now I think I know exactly what is missing. So there's another step you have to do, very important stuff here. So go to the code, and I want you to copy all of these variables here. Again, please pause the screen if you want to, but this is your database credential. So again, I'm just blurring that. I put a dummy picture. I don't want to share my database structure, but copy all of those things. Go to the source directory. There is inside that source, you will see a folder called environment. You will see two files inside that folder, environment.prod.ts and environment.ts. I want you to replace all of these things exactly what you have copied from Firebase console. Please make sure that you do not make any mistake. If you do a mistake, it's not going to work, because this is your database credential. This is how your application knows how to connect to which Firebase database. Again, please match it line by line. If you want, just please, take a screenshot and pause this video and please get this step right. Okay, once you have that right, go ahead and recompile your application. It should automatically recompile. As you can see on my screen, all the error goes away. So as you can see in my screen, I have no error. So most of the the people who download my app, they always fail to do that. So you have to set up your Firebase appropriately, and you have to follow this instruction word by word. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Okay, and again, if you have any issues, please come to this GitHub repository. I keep on saying that if you comment on YouTube video, it's very hard for me to help you out because I don't know what's going on. So whenever you have in trouble, come to this GitHub repository, create a new issue, and include the screenshot. Include the screenshot from your terminal window and from your web console window. Once I see the error, I can immediately tell you what's going wrong with their application. And and in case if you want to, again, tomorrow Angular 11 releases, so I'm not going to go back and update this video, but I'm going to update my code. I keep my code always updated. So if you want to see the prior version, older version for any reason, you can always go and see the branches, and you can download that. So again, there is a lot of things I covered. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go to the technical review, but even if you are interested, what are these Firebase rules? I have worked on a recent app called ERP Clouds, and this is, as you can see, each of these videos, they are like 45 minutes, 55 minutes, an hour long. I have covered all of these topics in detail, in extensive details. I have done the code walkthrough. I wrote every single line of code in this application. So if you are interested in the code walkthrough on how to develop it, like how what was my thinking when I was writing this code, you can find all of this information to that ERP apps. So again, I'm going to add to that video, I'm going to add that link to this video description. I hope you find this very useful. Plus, I hope you like it. So if you like it, please do follow me over the GitHub, give me a star. So those are the things which keeps me motivated. Again, this app is totally free. I built it for a client, and I actually donated it to community. So, and I'm expecting you to do that as well. So again, please, keep watching the videos. My next videos, I'm working on another few very exciting projects, which I'm going to sharing my videos very, very soon. So again, I hope you like it. Thank you very much.